Hello everyone, welcome to our first Shadows over Innistrad recording, rather. I've played several other drafts, but this will be our first one on the record. So we won the die roll, I'm going to go ahead and take the play. And this looks like an interesting hand. Unfortunately, might be regretting our mana base already, as we only have the one castable card, the dead weight. If we can find red, then suddenly our 2-drops will come online, but that's really not the most impressive. I really loathe mulliganing in limited formats. It seems especially punishing. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. We've got land drops to make for the first 3 turns. And we have our colors, except for, of course, our most relevant one. But we do have the greatest chance to draw a red source. So I'm going to start things off with the Forsaken Sanctuary, and then I think the Plains, as I would want to have a swamp in hand over Plains if I happen to draw the Foreboding Ruins. Oh, and there's our mountain, so actually that worked out perfectly. I will go ahead and I think it's between Sanguinary Mage and the Gibbering Fiend. If next turn he plays a 2-drop creature, I'm fairly certain I would deadweight it, which in the end would result in the same amount of damage being dealt, either 2 from the Fiend or 2 from the now prowessed Sanguinary Mage. So I don't think it really matters. On the off chance he has like a dual shot or something, I'm not going to play the Gibbering Fiend for him to slay. And we'll see what he has. So red-green, likely werewolves, maybe a Duskwatch Recruiter, or Veteran Cathar. Okay. I think we're going to go with the plan we had, which is to deadweight this so we can get some damage in and play the Fiend. Dealing 1 to him and attacking for another 2. So now if we draw red, we've got Fiery Temper to clear out another creature while attacking for 4. If we draw pretty much any other spell, we can cast it. So really we just don't want to draw swamps and double red cards like Fiery Temper. I will go ahead and attack both into the Wicker Witch, I think. He's likely to block the Gibbering Fiend, if anything. But we will see. I guess I could have played a land first to represent a Spiteful Motives, or instant speed, or flash rather, enchantment that gives +3/+0 and first strike. I'm going to hold on to the swamp again in case I draw the Foreboding Ruins. I want it to come into play untapped. Intrepid Provisioners, so now we need a red to deal with that. I'm not going to bluff my way into it. I'm actually going to hold on to the swamp for now and just play out the Revenant. We're really hoping to find a spell that we can cast. So pretty much anything at this point except for the Scourge Wolf and the Devil's Playground I think we can play. He's going to enchant our Sanguinary Mage, forcing it to attack, and when it dies, it will return under his control. It's not the worst. But he's going to hold back and block it, so this actually works out quite well. If, let's see, with his 3 open green mana, he could have a trick like Aim High or the Clue card. It's a bit tricky, because if I use the Fiery Temper right now, he would not block it. Excuse me. If I Fiery Temper it now, that'll trigger Prowess, making this a 2/4. He could pump this with a +2/+2 or 1/1 or something out of reach, and then not block with it. So we're definitely going to play the Mountain first. I could just attack as well, let him block, and that way if he does have a trick, he's losing his trick, his creature, and his Skin Invasion to kill. I think I have to go ahead and Fiery Temper this, actually. If he has his trick, then it's unfortunate, but if not, then I get to attack for 2 and 3 with the Firebog Revenant. And he does have the Aim High, so that's fine. I guess if he trades still, he's giving up 3 cards to remove my Fiery Temper and essentially mind control my Sanguinary Mage. Things could be worse. But because of the prowess, I will kill his Provisioners, which I believe he fully intends to block. So he essentially countered my Fiery Temper. Oh, and he takes the damage, actually. Okay. So I could have attacked him first. He would have almost certainly blocked, and then I could have tempered it. He probably would have used Aim High. But, I guess he wants to keep his Provisioner around and just feels like he can block and kill this guy. So this is interesting. We've got the Dread Knight, who can instant speed. We can discard a card painlessly, a Fiery Temper, next turn to grow him and kill something. As it stands, I'm attacking my Sanguinary Mage right into his Provisioners once again. So that's actually a tough choice, I think. He's only at 13, so we could just keep the damage flowing. 3 cards in hand, however. So once again, we're faced with Fiery Temper pre-combat or after he blocks, or in this case, not at all. Next turn we can play the Dread Knight, and then have Fiery Temper to discard to it, putting counters on him and killing his Provisioners or something. I think because of the Skin Invasion, I want to just go ahead and temper this now. I'm going to hold on to the Swamp once again to have something to discard to the Dread Knight or have an untapped red-black land. So, alright, we killed that. Gonna go ahead and attack with both. Oops. He can block the Farbog with his Neonate and then pump it, I suppose. But I think the odds of him doing that are slim enough, because he didn't use it in response to protect his Provisioner. We can safely attack. Masquerade, that's not the most effective card here. Gives his attacking creatures first strike, and if his vampire deals combat damage to me, which it could very well do, then this will grow to a 2/2. Let's see if he wants to do that or leave it back on defense. He's going for the attacks. Alright. So he is now a 2/2 Neonate. We have the Crow. So we could leave this back to block his 2/2 to keep it from growing, but I think we're on the offense here clearly, and he can't really afford to continue attacking me with that. So I'll just go ahead and attack him with both. And I'm going to play out the Dread Knight. Oop, I need my black mana. That's unfortunate. Let's tap these correctly. Let's play the Dread Knight here. Next turn, if I wanted to, if I draw like a land, for instance, I can use the Dread Knight's ability twice. Or I could play the Crow and use it once. So we'll see what we find. We're already up to 3 card types in the graveyard, though, rather effortlessly. So that's reassuring. Seems like he's stuck on the lands, so he could have a number of powerful 5-mana cards, like Gatstaff Arsonists or some such, that he just cannot quite cast. This is interesting, though. He's playing red and green, but with Stensia Masquerade, so presumably he's got lots of Madness cards and vampires. But so far we've only seen humans, and now a werewolf. So he attacks me. I'm just going to go ahead and take it. I mean, once again, I don't really mind this thing growing just a bit longer, and I do not want to lose my Dread Knight, of course. Mad Prophet. Wish now I still had a Fiery Temper to discard to it. So this thing has haste. He left it back, presumably to block my mage, maybe? I could just kill him, however, if I can grow this up to a 7/7 and with the 1 damage. So if he blocks the mage, I think I will play the Swamp out. And with my 6 mana, 2 cards in hand, representing lethal here. If he taps out to block here and pump it to kill me, that will leave him without mana to deal with the Dread Knight. So we'll see what happens. Okay. So he's forcing me to act now. I really don't want to get blown out by like an Clip Wings or something. Doubt he would main deck a card like that. Alternatively, I could just wait and then post-combat play the Mad Prophet. I think it's a tough decision, actually. I'd like to have another flying creature out to just diversify my threats, sort of. If he can deal with 1, I still have the other. He's taking 4 as it is, so he's likely dead next turn if he can't answer this thing. I think I'm just going to wait and see what he does here. So okay, he had no responses. Alright, I think I'm just going to play the Crow in that case. And I can, if necessary, use the Prophet. Oh, now he sees my Demon, unfortunately. So if he didn't have Clip Wings in his main deck, and he does have them in his sideboard, he is most certainly going to bring them in game 2, as he sees the Demon and the Dread Knight, my two most powerful threats, I'm sure. But we do manage to take game 1. So with what we saw in mind, Dissension in the ranks. Blocking creature fights another blocking creature. He seems fairly aggressive. I think we just had a fortunate draw there, that we kept him on the back foot. So he was blocking quite a bit there. With us on the draw, however, I do not think this card is at all going to be better than it already isn't, so I don't think I want to play that. Triskaidekaphobia could be interesting, but I don't think I want to play that either. Do I leave things as they are? Do I change the mana base? I think I might just leave things as they are. 5/3 for 5 does not seem the best against a number of like first striking vampires or something like that, or just any attacking creature. So I think I want to leave things the way they are, actually, and let us see how we fare. Stay tuned for game 2. Be back in just a moment.